Hello. Good evening. Go do your own research. I'm so sorry I'm late. But we are live. I think we are live. I have a new streaming system. And that's why I had a few technical difficulties. But I think I know what I'm doing. So yes, I am reading transcripts from the Justin Baldoni lawsuit. We have read through and we've now moved on to Alex Sachs, who was one of the producers, which I started. So this will be a continuation of that. And also have some other little bits that I'm in. So let me know if you can hear me okay. Use the streaming service before. And let me know what you think of your sparkly layout. Is it a bit too much? Right, I'm just finding my feet. Okay, I want to say as well, someone shouted me out on Reddit. It ends with lawsuits. Spread it. So I was happy about that. I would say I'm not really favoring either side. That was my intention with this. My initial interest in this case came from the fact that Crisis PR and the people and the digital fixer, were exposed for doing so much manipulation with misinformation. That was really well into it. As far as either side goes, I have no allegiance to either. I'm just presenting what I see in front of me, which is things that go up on the docket today. Now, yesterday we had read through the script of Justin Baldoni, the lawyer interrogating him had brought up a message that was to his buddies, the Baha'i bros. And it got rid of the docket. So I thought we could start with having a little look at that, and we'll get on Sachs. So it says, as you can see, it's a group chat sent by Justin Baldoni to Ahmed Musial, Jamie Heath, Cyrus Sigari, Travis Van Wilken, Andy Gramer, yeah, and Rainn Wilson. And it was sent on the 5th of January 2024 at 6:20 p.m. And it starts with Rainn Wilson, and he says, any update, brothers? And Justin says, sorry for not giving an update. Last night was one of the hardest nights of my life. It's hard to describe what happened exactly. The only way to describe it was an ambush. I had no words. I couldn't formulate sentences. My brain was trying to defend itself when they were needing me to apologize for all of the ways I have effed up and made her feel unsafe. Ryan was talking to me like a 5-year-old and scolding me. I have to say that reading through his deposition, there were times when I felt like he needed things to be read out like he was 5 years old. So I'm just saying. They essentially said that Jamie and I are not who we claimed to be, and that for us to have a podcast is unsafe because it makes people feel like we are safe. And that is the Man Enough podcast he's talking about, which I have watched myself. Not all of it, but when I started to research Justin Baldoni, that was my first starting point. And yeah, they are very obsessed with with creating a safe space. So the fact that you've been told that you're not who you are, who you say you are, and that people don't feel safe, I can kind of understand that. I was read from a phone all of the things that I did, while many of them were based in actual situations. The events were wrong, and things were taken completely out of context. The word creepy and abuse were used in reference to me in my behaviour. I was then given the words of what to say and had to apologise, which I was unable to do because my brain was trying to comprehend what was happening. I was in shock and basically went into feeling like I was a 7-year-old again when I got home last night. So we've gone from 5 to 7. I was emotionally paralysed. It was as bad as it sounds. Jamie did a beautiful job apologising. I did not have the words. I was embarrassed for myself as it happened in front of the team, but I was embarrassed that I was unable to even formulate the correct words to apologise and honestly just feel like a bad person. It's hard to feel so much of what they believe about me is false. Okay. Because they are so convinced that it's real. So, like he was asked in the deposition, do you think that maybe because they are right? Is that why it's hard for you to feel so much of what they believe about you as false? Looking for the nuggets of learning, which there are many and somehow have showed up today. Thanks to Jamie and my wife, and we are currently shooting. I love you all. So there's the exhibit stamp. He goes on. So that was at 6:35. 10 minutes later, he sends another paragraph, 3 paragraphs. My brain was struggling because what I wanted to say and do was run and blow this whole movie up. Because I feel this was so unjust, and yet the only path forward was to acknowledge her and Ryan's feelings. Notice he never says Blake Lively's name. Blake Lively, the star of this movie, who, at this point in time, although it's January 2024, they've only shot like literally a few weeks with her before the set was shut down for a PGA strike. So there's been a long period of months with nothing going on. And in the previous message, he was calling her the actress. Now he's just calling her her. I just think all these little details are very interesting to note, because it shows a degree of hostility. The only path forward was to acknowledge her and Ryan's feelings and apologize and take the wrath of an angry husband. Yeah, I couldn't even do that correctly. I prayed and prayed and prayed for the words, and I didn't come. So I felt abandoned by God in that moment, even though I know that's not what happened. I also want to note that he's previously expressed that he was unable to apologise directly to Jenny Slate. He apologised to Alex Sachs, but apparently the next day. And apparently he went on to shout at her on another couple of occasions until she said, if that happens again, I'm leaving the production. And the problem is that since 2017, he has been promoting this image of himself as a vulnerable man that is able to be accountable and apologize for his mistakes. So in real time, in his own messages, in his own words to his friends and his colleagues, he is not doing that. But he's complaining that people might think he's not who he says he is. All I'm doing is reading the words out that I see in front of me. We were told this was the worst experience of her life, and others have witnessed this behaviour, and the behaviour on our set was creepy. I was emotionally paralysed. I think he's already said that, which is something I haven't experienced. I think he means haven't experienced in years. Rain. Imagine that meeting all those years ago at Soul Pancake with Golriz. Oh, I wonder what that was. But times that by 100. I spoke to my therapist for an hour, and she tried to get me out of the haze as I literally could not get myself off the couch. I don't know how I will make it through, but I know that I will. And just knowing you're all there for me means the world to me, because even with Jamie here and my wife and family, I've never felt so alone. Putting a smile on, doing my best to lead the crew. I will unpack and process this when we wrap, of course. I apologise for the vulnerability dump. This is one of the few safe spaces I have right now. I love you all and thank you for your prayers. He's already said as well, going by Alex Sachs's deposition, that he would ensure that his set was a safe space. And that was months ago, months before this. So for him to say, this is one of the few safe spaces I have right now, says a lot. Sorry for my dictation grammar. I'm in between shots. 6:45. At 6:53, he gets a reply from, I think it could be Travis. Justin, you were ambushed. You reacted the only way you could. He wasn't ambushed. He went to the meeting. It was a work meeting with all the production there and the executives from Sony. He agreed to go to the meeting, so he wasn't ambushed. I'm afraid his friend is mistaken. Hold on to your beliefs and keep moving forward. God is all glorious and is with you. Our prayers for strength and protection continue. We are with you in spirit and love you with all our hearts. Rainn Wilson writes, oh my God, I can't believe it. You were set up and ambushed and personally attacked. I'm stunned. I completely relate to you being stunned like a deer in the headlights. Probably better that you didn't immediately just start apologizing. So grateful that Jamie is your partner and could step in diplomatically as needed. Onwards, brother. Make a great and important and entertaining piece of storytelling. That's all you can do now. So sorry for what you went through. Heartbreak emoji. I love you all and will keep praying for you. Congrats on getting them back to film, even though you feel like you have been through a war. God answers all of our prayers, just not in ways that are obvious at the time. You have many friends who love you and are connected to your soul. Travis Van Winkle writes, love you two so much, you're both frickin' warriors. Oh, so I guess that wasn't him then. I don't know who something@gmail.com was. Anyway, so that's a text message he has submitted as an exhibit. I don't know what it's supposed to prove. But like we were discussing yesterday, he's using the excuse that he was in a vulnerable place and he was in therapy, and he said something about not being sober as well, which I thought was very interesting. Because as my knowledge of sobriety, recovery, collective kind of treatment, counseling is about apologizing to people you've harmed. And clearly he knew he'd harm people. So it's a very bizarre message. Anyway, we are now going to move on to we're going to move on to, now I really hope it's going to work because I've been having some issues, but I've really tried to get it all ready. So let me
actually started in 2018 because sometimes talking about producing is better when you can reference specifics. Not. So this is the all began. I watched Justin's TED Talk, talks about masculinity, and I just loved it. I loved everything about it. So I tweeted Bond, and I started doing a little bit of digging into who he was and what he was doing, his work on masculinity, but also then that he was a film, 5 Feet Apart. I think about 6 months later, when I was back in town, Gloria's or had just wrapped it, I called his manager and she happily said it. And so we ended up having lunch, and it was this amazing lunch. Like, I'm talking 3 hours, and I think I remember calling the manager after and saying, I think this was one of the best meetings of my career. I adore him. Keep me posted. I don't have anything for him right now, acting or directing wise, but, would just love to keep in touch. So back to It Ends With Us. After that lunch, he sent me a book that he had just acquired a year or so prior, called It Ends With Us. And he said, it's a really special book. It's a little bit about domestic violence, and would you just read it and see if you like it? And so I said, sure. I love to read, voracious reader. And so I got one night in one sitting, actually, and I texted her. I called him the next day, and we talked about it a little bit, and I said, look, it's kind of a no-brainer movie to me. Keep me posted. I didn't know if he was sending it to me to be involved or whatnot, but at that point I just kind of wanted to build a friendship. So that's what we did. We stayed in touch over the next several years, and then in November, when I was wrapping up No Hard Feelings, last day of shooting, I got a text from Justin in the morning saying, hey, do you have time to chat today? Sorry, I'm on set and it's windy. And I said, sure. And he said, you remember that book that I sent you years ago? You were the first producer I ever sent it to, and I'll finally send you the script. We're doing it with Sony, and I know you're working with them now and having a good experience. And I said, oh my God, I'm so honored. Also, I am so tired. And so I actually almost ended up passing on the project, and I'm so glad I didn't, because I couldn't be more thrilled to be involved in this and to bring it to screens soon. I'm so thrilled. So that's how I got involved in It Ends With Us. So how did I come to produce It Ends With Us?
Oh, okay. Sorry, it was it's so long to load. And sorry if it's quiet as well. It was quiet TikTok. I didn't dare stop it while it was playing in case it wouldn't start again. So it was really interesting. So if you didn't catch that, she said Justin hired her, and she had originally tweeted him after hearing his TED talk, and I was just a bit like, yeah, because I've been kind of saying about these talks and about how very much I believe about social, when you trace back to the start, how it was set up by billionaire tech entrepreneurs, attended by Jeffrey Epstein buddies. But he was there. He was there in 2000 TED conference with his companion. I don't know if Jelaine was, but Virginia Roberts said she went there to meet people from the conference as a teenager. These were much, much older men, and they were planning this TED organ. So it was really interesting that Alex Sachs believed in him, how he somehow became a thought leader. Now I noticed that she was still making TikTok right up until It's around April, May, maybe even later, until the screening, where obviously we know things started to go well wrong. And she has her comments turned off as well, which I think is interesting. So I wondered how she feels about it, because it seems like she really bought into Justin's brand, just like Blake Lively did. And I guess she was pretty shocked he acted the way he did towards her. Yeah, anyway. We are now to, what else have I got? Oh yeah. Is it okay now? Seems like it's working now. Okay, good. I'm really sorry. I've never used this streaming platform before, so I thought I'd give it a try. And I had it all set up, and then just as I was to come on, the screen started acting all weird, and I had to like reload thing. And so it was a minute rush to get everything ready. But it seems to be okay now, and I apologize if it is not coming through loud here. That's what I have the document up so you can read it as well. So yesterday we had got up to Deposition, by the way. So we had got up to there was a meeting in Blake Lively's trailer. And like I said, notice how Justin in his messages, he can't even call this woman by her name. But this is on around June 1st. You had a meeting in Ms. Lively's trailer. And Alex Sachs says, that's what it looks like. I did not remember it. She said, do you recall who was at that meeting? I don't. But I assume me, Jamie, Justin, and Blake. Does this message you sent that Ms. Lively called out Jamie and Justin in front of you refresh your recollection that you, Jamie, Justin, and Ms. Lively had a meeting on June 1st? It does a little, but we had so many meetings over the course of the shoot that I'm not certain I'm remembering the exact one. So do you remember a discussion of the meeting, but not necessarily where it took place? No. Do you remember a situation in which Ms. Lively called out Mr. Heath and Mr. Baldoni in front of you? Not. Now I'm remembering, but I don't remember many of the specifics, but I think I remember that this was in her trailer. What do you remember about what Ms. Lively said during that meeting? Very little, other than what I wrote. I remember her, all I remember is her leaning against one side of the trailer. I think I was opposite her. Maybe Justin was here and maybe Jamie was there. But I do remember, now that I'm reading it, that I don't remember the specifics of even what she said. I would have to keep reading, but that she was very direct but professional, and that was it. If you turn to message at 9:37 a.m. on the other page, you write, he did try to clarify that he thought Justin told her about it. And Ms. Janetti responds, this is the wife photo. Do you see that? I do. Do you recall Ms. Lively raising to you, Mr. Baldoni, and Mr. Heath that she was uncomfortable with Mr. Heath showing her a video of his nude wife? Yes. And I believe it was in this meeting she brought up that she had been shown a video of Jamie's wife giving birth. And did you understand Mr. Heath's wife to be nude in that video? Yes. Did you ever watch the video? No. Did you understand that Ms. Lively was uncomfortable with being shown a video of her boss's wife giving birth? Objection! I believe she shared that at the time. Did you think it was appropriate for Mr. Heath to show Ms. Lively a video of his wife giving birth nude? Objection! No. Let me just repeat that. Did you think it was appropriate for Mr. Heath to show Ms. Lively a video of his wife giving birth nude? Objection! No. Do you want your boss to show you a video of his wife giving birth nude? Objection! No. You wrote, he did try to clarify that he thought Justin told her about it. Did you mean that Mr. Heath tried to clarify that he showed Ms. Lively a video of his nude wife because Justin asked him to? I believe he was trying to clarify that he thought Justin had told her this is what the video is, and that she had wanted to see it. Mr. Heath thought Ms. Lively wanted to see. Mr. Heath said to you something to the effect that he thought Ms. Lively wanted to see a video of his nude wife. Objection! That's what it sounded like in the room, just from what I'm reading. I don't remember. At 9:38, you wrote, yes, and there were other comments. As you sit here, do you have a recollection of what other comments Ms. Lively raised concerns about during the meeting with you? Mr. Heath and Mr. Baldoni. I don't. At 9:42 a.m, you wrote, the other piece was that she was like, you, Jamie, make jokes about how you can't make eye contact with people anymore, as if to undermine and lessen the importance of people not wanting to be comfy, cozy on set. Do you see that? Yes. What do you recall Ms. Lively sharing with regard to that statement? There was a lot of hugging and touching amidst the Wayfarer team. It's just seemingly sort of how they do business and interact with each other. And it sounds like she was referring to how sometimes the guys would make jokes about how they couldn't do that, but not really that. The joke would be, can't even make eye contact with people anymore. And she used that as an example to say, everything is too comfortable on set. Can we make it more professional? In your view, the comment that Miss Lively raised about Mr. Heath and Mr. Baldoni joking that you can't make eye contact with people anymore, did you view that to undermine and lessen the importance of people wanting to be comfortable in the workplace? Objection, yes. Through that joke, and Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath were making light of concerns raised about their own behaviour. It reads more general to me that just you can't do anymore and not get in trouble than maybe more reflective of their own behaviour. In your view, does that kind of comment create an environment in which employees would be comfortable coming forward with concerns, objection about the behaviour of their bosses, objection, sorry for stepping over your question. Yeah, chill out with the objections, Garofalo. I'd ask you, let me finish, please. I did. And I said objection, and I apologised for stepping over your question. I'll re-ask. In your view, does a comment, joke about how you can't make eye contact with people anymore create an environment in which employees would feel comfortable coming forward with concerns about the workplace? Objection. It does not make employees feel comfortable. Did you say it does not make employees feel comfortable or uncomfortable? Comfortable. Thank you. Do you recall during the meeting Baldoni, Mr. Heath and Ms. that Ms. Lively also raised issue with Mr. Baldoni coming into her trailer uninvited? Reading it here. At 9:43 a.m. you wrote to Ms. Giannetti, and then she also mentioned that I guess on day 2 Jamie went into Blake's trailer and she was like, oh, actually, I'm getting my makeup done. Well, you can come in if you don't look. And apparently he was looking in her direction the entire conversation when she turned around. Do you see that? Yes. What do you recall Ms. Lively sharing with regard to that incident? Nothing more than what you just read. So did Ms. Lively, do you recall Ms. Lively sharing with you that Mr. Heath had barged into her trailer while she was undressed? I don't recall. Do you recall Ms. Lively sharing whether she had clothes on at the time? I don't recall. But if I'm saying she was getting body makeup done, then she didn't have clothes on. And to your understanding, when Ms. Lively was getting body makeup done or removed, was she generally topless? Objection, form. Join. I don't actually know. You believe that she might have been? Correct. Objection. Do you have a recollection of Ms. Lively specifically sharing that she was in some state of undress at the time Mr. Heath came into her trailer uninvited? I don't remember outside of reading this. Do you have an understanding why Ms. Lively would say, you can come in, but don't look, if she was wearing clothes at the time? Objection. Likely because she knew the conversation was important and she was professional and probably wanted to discuss whatever needed to be discussed. It's important to note as well that these people were running on a very tight time schedule. So her having these impromptu meetings was in a way her helping to not delay things further. Do you have a recollection of Ms. Lively specifically sharing that she was in some state of undress at the time Mr. Heath came into her trailer uninvited? I don't remember outside of reading this. Do you have an understanding why Ms. Lively would say, you can come in but don't look, if she was wearing clothes at the time? Objection. Oh, sorry, I just read that again. I'm so sorry. Did Ms. Lively share with you that when Mr. Heath attempted to enter her trailer, she and her team yelled, no, 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 don't come in. Objection. Boom. I don't remember. Do you recall Ms. Lively sharing that Mr. Heath had insisted on having a meeting with her when he entered her trailer? I don't remember. Do you recall Miss Lively conveying that she was uncomfortable with Mr. Heath looking at her while she was getting her makeup undone or done? I don't remember. Miss Janetti responded to your text with regard to Mr. Heath entering Blake's trailer and said, not good. You responded, nope. Do you see that? What do you remember being not good about the situation in which Mr. Heath entered Miss Lively's trailer? Objection. That he was looking at her get body makeup done when she asked him not to. And it was your understanding that Miss Lively was uncomfortable with that. Objection. That's what I perceived. Was Miss Lively doing something, or strike that? Did Miss Lively recount this story to you in a way that you perceived in a specific way that made you perceive she was uncomfortable? Objection. Form. Join. Not that I can recall. What was your reaction to hearing that Mr. Heath had entered Miss Lively's trailer uninvited and looked at her while she was getting her makeup done, body makeup done? I would imagine, I don't recall exactly, but I would imagine uncomfortable, like I am reading it now. You're uncomfortable even rereading it now? Yes. Why? Because I don't like that it happened. Why not? Because it's not appropriate for the workplace. Why is it inappropriate for the workplace for Mr. Heath to go into Miss Lively's trailer and look at her while she's getting her body done? Objection. Oh, okay, so they've now skipped ahead 20 minutes. The last bit says Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's behaviour. I know that our first production designer said to me at one point that at the end of the first round of shooting, he felt like he was leaving a cult. Who was that? Russell Barnes. Russell Barnes. Any other cast or crew members you were aware of having concerns about Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's behaviour? Specifically, no, but in general, a lot of the crew felt the production was being run in a way that wasn't up to industry standard. What do you mean by up to industry standard? That they just did things a little differently. Yeah, which I think mostly was due to the inexperience. Are you aware of other cast or crew members feeling that Mr. Baldoni or Mr. Heath's behaviour was inappropriate? Objection. Oh. I keep skipping really important bits. So yeah, I just was gonna say, going back to her TikTok, so she says that she tweeted Justin Baldoni, she spoke to his manager or his agent, and then I guess a conversation went on about turning, because he had bought the book rights to Colleen Hoover's book. So I guess a conversation had gone on to move forward the eventuality that he was going to make that book into a film. And so he contacted her, and she had previously worked with Sony. And I think he had already negotiated Sony into the deal. So I'm kind of trying to put this all together. Alex Sachs was freelance, but she had experience working with Sony and she had a very good reputation. Justin Baldoni was not experienced. This was only his third movie. And he's never worked on anything as big as this before. We are on page... I'm just checking the chat. Look. I'm going to put your comment up. Hoover would not say Mr. Baldoni's name at book bonanza. I believe at that point I was aware that Blake and Colleen had discussed basically all of what had happened to Blake on the film. Your understanding was that Ms. Lively had discussed how she had been treated by Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath on the film, correct? And her discomfort with that treatment, yes. At 8:44, when you say neither of them would mention JB's name, who else were you referring to other than Ms. Hoover? Wow, Ms. Hoover didn't want to say his name? I assume Blake. Is it your recollection that Ms. Lively also would not say Mr. Baldoni's name at Book Bonanza? Yes. If you would turn to Exhibit 11, which is document stamped SPEBL 2193, do you have that in front of you? Yes. Do you recognize Exhibit 11 as a text exchange between you and Ms. Giannetti on June 15th, 2024? Yes. At 2:19 p.m, Ms. Giannetti says, "Call me." And later on at 2:53, you write, "She asked you, did you get any details back then?" And you respond, "Justin was very dismissive of her when she wanted to direct, and then used Jamie to try and manipulate her when he realized she could co-direct it after she got Daddy-O going." Do you see that? Yes. Do you recall what this text was in reference to? No. Do you recall if you and Ms. Giannetti had a conversation about concerns raised by Christy Hall with respect to Mr. Baldoni being dismissive of her? Yes. Wait a minute. Okay, so that message she just read out, Exhibit 11, as a text exchange between you and Miss Janetti on June 15th. She said, did you get any details back then? Justin was very dismissive of her when she wanted to direct. Is she talking about Christy Hall or Blake Lively? I'm confused. Do you recall if you and Miss Janetti had a conversation about concerns raised by Christy Hall with respect to Mr. Baldoni being dismissive of her? So it must be Christy Hall. Yes, now I know what it's about. What do you recall with respect to Miss Hall's concerns, if any, about any Mr. Baldoni? That, yeah, initially he was dismissive of her wanting to direct. I don't remember much more than that. You write at 2:54. And then she felt like he tried to use her for cover with Blake and Colleen's brunch. Do you have an understanding of what you were referencing there? Yeah, that she was the female writer, and he would say, you know, that he wanted to give her the chance to write her way in, etc. It was your impression that Miss Hall was concerned with Mr. Baldoni using her as a cover with Blake and Colleen with regard to the script. How did I have a feeling that was going to happen? This whole thing has been about the rewriting of the script and how Justin wanted it written his way, but yet was pretending that it was going to be written by a woman and using the female gaze, whatever the hell that is in his mind. I guess so. At 2:55, you wrote, she just doesn't want to be associated with him then. Him or them. Yes. What is that in reference to? That is that she didn't want to be associated with Justin and Wayfarer. Miss Hall did not want to be associated with Mr. Baldoni or with Wayfarer? I believe so. Did you know why? I believe because of everything I wrote previously. Miss Hall had shared with you that she did not want to be associated with Mr. Baldoni or Wayfarer. Yes. Did Miss Hall also share with you, as you expressed at 2:57 p.m., she didn't feel respected as a female voice? On the team and on a movie like this that felt especially bad. Yes. At 2:59, Miss Janetti writes, just so many things stacking up. People are so upset or pissed off about. I cannot believe how they just keep coming. So this is Ange Janetti, the executive from Sony. You respond, I think this is where narcissism is dangerous. Dun, dun, dun. She dropped the N-bomb. Do you see that? Yes. Is this in reference to, is your comment regarding narcissism in reference to Mr. Baldoni? Yes. Did you believe Mr. Baldoni to be a narcissist? As a non-physician, yes. Based on what? All the behaviour I had witnessed for the preceding year and a half. Wow. So she's gone from tweeting him how much she enjoyed his TED Talk, how she thought it was one of the best things she's ever listened to. Do you know why? Because she really bought into it. She really believed that, pardon my French, crap. I really wonder who wrote that speech for him. I really do. Because I'm almost certain it wasn't a woman. I'm going to get rid of them. I think they're a little thing. I don't know, maybe I should do a poll. What do you think? Yes or no comments showing. I don't know, it's too much going on the screen. Was it your experience that so many things kept stacking up that people were upset or pissed about with respect to Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's behaviour? Can you repeat the first part? Sorry. Was it your experience that so many things kept stacking up that people were upset or pissed about with respect to Mr. Baldoni or Mr. Heath's behaviour? Yeah. At 3:01, you write, it's only when Jamie, this isn't fair nonsense, and revisionist history comes up that I'm like, come on, guys. What did you mean by Jamie? This isn't fair nonsense and revisionist history. I would assume it's the we didn't do anything wrong as opposed to remembering what happened. It was Mr. Heath and Mr. Baldoni's attitude that they didn't do anything wrong that you were referring to as revisionist history. I believe so. So I keep thinking about his Instagram reel as well when he said about stopping time. And he was like, people believe that I'm this unicorn. And I'm like, really? People really believe you're this unicorn? Or did you just tell yourself that? Because this ain't sounding like no goddamn unicorn. The couple came to me that we've talked about and myself, yes. And you felt like it was deep because Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath wrote the checks, yes. And it was deep for you because Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath wrote the checks, right? Yes. And they made you feel like, shh, yes. If you go down to the message at 3:03 p.m, please. I think that's awful. Like anyone who makes you feel like that at work, I feel bad. I feel bad for her because when I saw that TikTok, I was like, oh man, she really believed in his BS. But then I'm like, well, like I said yesterday, she's a very corporate person. But it must be worse when someone makes you feel like that and you actually thought they were a good person. If you go down to the message at 3:03 p.m, please, you write, I remember you calling me around 2 a.m. one night being like, what the F? Because so much of it was these minuscule microaggressions. Do you see that? Yes. Was it your experience that Mr. Heath and Mr. Baldoni continued to engage in microaggressions during the second stage of filming? From what I remember, it was much better on the second round, but I will be honest, I don't remember with great specificity. Yeah, and I noticed that she says about him calling around 2 a.m. I notice so many of their messages are sent in the middle of the night or the early hours of the morning, which I know the kind of people that send those messages. Andy, he's inviting the department heads to go to the Russian bars with him. Do you see that? Yes. What is this? What is that in reference to? At the beginning of the prep, Justin was going to a Russian bath in New Jersey for relaxation and was very excited about it. Came into one of our scout vans and said that he wanted to bring everyone with him at some point. Do you think it was appropriate for Mr. Baldoni to invite cast and crew to Russian baths with him? I didn't, but that's why I called Andy Davis to confirm. You did not think it was appropriate. I didn't, but I wanted to call him to confirm, and then I spoke to Jamie about it. And did Mr. Davis confirm that Mr. Baldoni inviting cast and crew to Russian baths was in fact not appropriate behaviour in the workplace? Objection. Correct. What did Jamie say when you raised to him that Mr. Baldoni had invited cast and crew to the Russian baths with him? That I don't remember if he said it was appropriate or inappropriate, but he said that he would talk to Justin, and I believe he did. At 3:06 p.m., Miss Janetti wrote, "Everybody has something weird, uncomfortable, and bad to say. Do you see that? Yes. So your experience that everybody had something weird, uncomfortable, and bad to say with respect to Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath on set. So your experience that everybody had something weird, uncomfortable, and bad to say with respect to Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath on set. I didn't talk to everyone about it, but the people that I did, yes. Fair to say most people, yes. Around the time of Book Bonanza, did you come to understand that certain cast and crew did not want to appear in press and promotion with Mr. Baldoni? Yes. Who? I don't remember exactly, but I want to say everyone except Hassan. I just want to post a comment. Justin has been scapegoating Lively the whole time. That is what I'm doing. You see how little in the actual timeline, in the actual true version of events, because I trust this woman's deposition. I trust this woman's version of the events. She says she doesn't remember exact details, and she was actually someone who admired this guy. So what reason would she have to not be honest? Who? I don't remember exactly. Did I read that bit? Around the time of Book Bonanza, did you come to understand that certain cast and crew did not want to appear in press and promotion with Mr. Baldoni? Yes. Who? I don't remember exactly, but I want to say everyone except Hassan. Would that have been Ms. Lively, Miss Slate, Ms. Farrar, Mr. Sklenar, and Miss Hoover, who did not? and Miss Hall, who did not want to appear in press or promotion with Mr. Baldoni. Correct. So that's pretty much everyone. Did you have an understanding as to why those individuals did not want to appear in press or promotion with Mr. Baldoni? I believe because of everything that had transpired, or what they had heard had transpired. You believe that Miss Lively did not want to appear in press or promotion with Mr. Baldoni because of what she perceived to be inappropriate and uncomfortable behaviour by Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath on set. That was my assumption. Same for Ms. Slate. Yes. That Christy Hall won't do press with Justin, right? They just jumped 2 minutes. Correct. At 7:35, you write to the group, they all hate him. Who was that in reference to? What was the timestamp on that? 7:35. Oh, I assume Blake, Brandon, and Isabella. During Book Bonanza, was a cut of the film screened? Yes. And did the audience have a huge reaction? Yeah. Standing ovations? Yes, from what I remember. If you turn, please, to your message at 11:18 p.m, it will be on the next page. Yep, you right. Strongest cut, that's... Sorry, I'm messing up a really important bit. Strongest cut thus far. Do you see that? Strongest cut thus far. Was it your opinion that the cut screened at Book Bonanza was the strongest cut of the film you had seen so far? Yeah. And was that the cut created by Ms. Lively? I actually don't remember. Do you have any reason to believe that it was the cut of the film that was created by Mr. Baldoni? I don't think so because of the date. Was Mr. Baldoni at Book Bonanza? No. Ms. Lively was though, right? Correct. If you can turn to Exhibit 13, which is document bearing Bates BL8042. Do you recognise this document as a text chain between you and Ms. Lively on June 15th to 16th, 2024? Yes, yup. If you turn, please, to your text at 3:04 a.m, in the middle of the message, you write, the cut is excellent. Like I said, the best thus far. Truly beautiful. Beautiful work, Blake. I think this last leg of the journey is going to be really sweet for everyone, and that's because of you. Colleen might be the mother, but you're the effing fairy godmother for everyone. I am always at your disposal for whatever you need, creatively or otherwise. I'm incredibly proud of this film. Does that text refresh your recollection with respect to whether the cut screen at Book Bonanza was the cut Ms. Lively created? Yes. Do you recall that in connection with releasing the film, Wayfarer had compiled or developed a companion book? Yes. Okay, I'm giving you what is marked as Exhibit 14. Exhibit 14 is a document stamped Wayfarer 6823 through 6831. Fair enough. Mr. Heath writes, I'm sending you Alex's notes. While there are some that are worth discussing, I want you to know that she is not always the best with bedside manner. Huh? So please read her note with that in mind. She is not a decision maker when it comes to this. Do you see that? Uh-huh. Does it surprise you that Mr. Heath would send your notes to the editor or writer of the coffee table book and represent that you are not a decision maker? No. I mean, sorry. Yeah. No. No. Why? Because I wasn't one. Is that consistent with your experience? That Mr. Heath and Mr. Baldoni sidelined you as a producer in connection with the film? Completely. You can set that aside. She might not have been a decision maker, but she made good decisions. That you received at the time, yes. Oh, you can set that aside. Exhibit 16 is a document bearing Bates AS 701. This appears to be an email from you to Todd Black, Justin Baldoni, and Jamie Heath on November 22nd, 2023. Do you see that? Yes. Do you recognize this email? Yes. There's an attachment to this email titled Notes for IEWU 3-week Director's Cut screening, right? Yes. And the attachment, do you know whose notes these are? I don't. Do you recall if you wrote these notes? I don't. Do you recall if you wrote these notes? I don't. The notes are describing the director's cut, right? Correct. Yes. Do you recall whether Mr. Baldoni in fact wrote these notes that are attached to the email? I really don't. Here we go, guys. Justin's about to speak. In the first paragraph, the notes read, "This is now a PG-13 film through and through. All swearing has been removed aside from one F word placed in a very important moment in a non-sexual way. Making this film PG-13 has proven without a doubt to be what's best for the film and the audience." Was that your view with respect to the PG-13 rating of the film? I think at the time I was supportive of PG-13. I mean, that's almost always better for a mass audience for films. We originally were supposed to make an R-rated movie, and so that was a little controversial internally when it needed to change. But I believe I supported the PG-13. So rated R is like adult only? I thought it was, I was like thinking that was like universal. I was confused. And did you say PG-13 is almost better for mass audience for films? Why is that? Because it can reach more people. More people can go see it. A younger audience can go see it. I'm handing you Exhibit 17. And while that's passed around, I will ask you a question. Not yet about the exhibit, we'll wait for everyone else to have it, but do you recall a meeting on or around January 4th at Miss Lively's home in which she expressed concerns with respect to Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's behaviour on set? Yes. Uh-oh. Right, I just want to say I made another mistake there as well because I thought the email was going to be Justin speaking. So do you recall whether Mr. Baldoni in fact wrote these notes that are attached to the email? Yeah, so it says Justin said it. What was your view? Okay, that's fine. Don't mind me. Sometimes I get confused. Right, we're at the meeting. We all know about this meeting, and I have just read out the message Justin sent to his Baha'i bros reacting to that meeting in an extreme manner, if you ask me. He said he felt like a 5-year-old boy. He said he had to be spoken to. He felt like he was being spoken to like a 5-year-old boy, but then he said when he got home he felt like a 7-year-old boy. At paragraph 20, page 7, there is a screenshot of notes that have 30 points there. If you could take a minute and read through those, my question for you will be whether the 30 points identified on that page are consistent with what you recall Ms. Lively speaking to you during the January 4th meeting. They've missed out a line. Do you recall... No. My question for you will be whether the 30 points identified on that page are consistent with what you recall Ms. Lively speaking to you during the January 4th meeting. Sorry, it's the way they've worded that. Ready? Yes. Are the 30 points identified in paragraph 20 of that complaint consistent with what you recall Ms. Lively speaking to you during the January 4th meeting? I don't remember every point one by one. I remember most of them. Okay, you can set that aside. Was Miss Lively eventually awarded a PGA Producer's Mark for her work on It Ends With Us? Yes. Did you also speak with other cast and crew members about submitting letters on Ms. Lively's behalf to obtain a PGA Producer's Mark? I spoke with other crew. Other crew, okay, thank you. Ms. Rosa, what exhibits are we on, Ashley? Hold on. You received from Ms. Agerman in support of Ms. Lively's producer mark, yeah? Exhibit 19 is marked AS1088. Do you recognize this as a June 26, 2024 email and the attachment, a letter that you received from Russell Barnes in support of Ms. Lively's PGA producer mark? Yes. Exhibit 20. Do you recognize Exhibit 20 as an email from Mr. Barry Peterson to you on June 22nd, 2024? I don't have that one. We have a 20, but it's not what you just discussed. But it's what you just discussed. AS1088. I think someone yesterday commented on how confusing the labeling was in these exhibits. I know a lot of lawyers watch these videos and are very interested in this case. I wonder how they feel about the labeling process, because as a completely non-legal person, I find it very confusing. Did you agree, based on your experience, that Ms. Lively deserved the PGA producer's mark that she was awarded in connection with the film? Yes. So I believe PGA stands for Producers Guild Association, I want to say. But it's kind of like a benchmark. It means you weren't just a producer, you did an exceptional job as a producer. Like, we're recognizing your input into this film. That's my understanding of what PGA means. It's kind of like a gold star. So I do actually have the emails that she was sent. It would take me a while to get them up on the screen, but I can quickly read them out because I did screenshot them. So the one from Russell Barnes said, "To whom it may concern at the PGA, I'm Russell Barnes, production designer of the movie It Ends With Us. I am writing to support the petition for Blake Lively to receive the PGA mark. I worked with Ms. Lively during the early preparation and initial photography phase." Early preparation. Or was he the one that called it a cult? "We collaborated on the design of the movie, including color, tone, and set dressing. Ms. Lively also initiated contact with various vendors, allowing us to save money and increase production value." I'm speaking like as if I'm talking to a 5-year-old. "Beyond her specific involvement with the art department, it was evident that the movie significantly benefited from her script notes and insights into various aspects of production." I'm just saying, I'm just reading it out. These were filed on the 4th of December, if anyone wants to go look them up on the docket. Then we have on June 24th, "For the majority of 2024 and into 2025, to whom it may concern, I worked on the film It Ends With Us as an executive producer and unit production manager. My duties included everything related to line producing and production management. During that time, I worked very closely with the producing team. When I received an email from the PGA months ago regarding who should receive the PGA mark, Blake Lively was not listed as a possibility that I could select. However, she is now receiving a producer credit, and it is of my opinion that she should also receive the PGA mark. Along with being our lead actress, Blake was very involved on all creative decisions throughout. Production and post-production as a producer. Post-production. She was involved during production with decisions related to creative script changes, choice of props, set dressing ideas, color schemes, and everything, in my opinion, that a great producer should be involved with. I've been a member of PGA for years and take the PGA mark very seriously, and it's of my opinion that Blake Lively should definitely receive the PGA mark for the film It Ends With Us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly at Redacted. Thank you for your time, Andrea Ajamian, executive producer. It Ends With Us. And if you remember, or if you watched my timeline, my Wayfarer timeline spreadsheet document reading, you would know that they refused to write a letter to the PGA, but then changed their mind. So I'm just saying, it doesn't sound to me like she's over the movie. It sounds to me like she contributed a lot to the movie and helped to make it the success that it was. Just going by what I'm reading. Okay, so we're now on to a different conversation, and it says, was Mr. Heath someone commenting that, oh, Mr. Baldoni looked hot or looked sexy? Was she in costume? I believe so. Okay, so he wasn't commenting on her street appearance, correct? One second. You have to pay a membership to the guild? Oh, are you asking me a question? You have to pay for your accolades. I mean, I'm not being funny, yeah, but most awards of some kind of payment by someone. I received an award once, and we had to pay. I had to buy tickets myself, but for none of them could afford it. I did, but and then on top of it, they wanted me to buy the DVD. I didn't get a free DVD. I got a trophy. Still, he said he takes the guild very seriously, and these are credible people writing those letters. I was actually really surprised when I read them, because I was like, wow, you know, the point is this, okay, if you don't know anything about this story, or you've only been following what's been put out by other content creators and in media articles, you would think, you just wouldn't think any of this stuff that we're now seeing presented as fact had actually happened. Like, we didn't know how integral she was to the success of the film, but now we have at least 3 or 4 people saying it. Objection. Okay. So he wasn't commenting on her street appearance, correct? Objection. Correct. And do you know whether the character at that moment was going to be in a scene that included sexual content? Objection. Her character was never in a scene with sexual content. Ms. Slates, correct. Okay, let's have the same questions with Ms. Lively. Are you aware that Ms. Lively complained that Mr. Baldoni said she looked sexy? Yes. And she was in costume at the time. Objection. And there had been an incident before where he interrupted you on a Zoom call? Yes, it was, I think it was a phone call. Okay, and that did not please you very much, correct? Correct. Oh, so okay, so this is Garofalo cross, is it called cross in depositions? I don't know. Cross questioning, counter questioning. Just, I wondered why they were going back to this conversation. We're learning together, guys. By the way, let me just say, yeah, you won't get any other content like this on YouTube. Okay? But I have sat through a lot of lawyers reading through depositions, and I don't think I did a much worse job. Because not all of us understand all this legal jargon. And there had been an incident before where he interrupted you on a Zoom call. Yes, it was, I think it was a phone call. Okay. And that did not please you very much, correct? Correct. And you told Mr. Baldoni, right? No, I actually didn't. But he apologized to you, didn't he? He did. Now, what I could do is see if it works. I have a bit of a delay on my monitor, so yep, it's worked. I managed to find, and it says, "Hey everyone, I hope you've had a beautiful Sunday." This is Justin speaking. Justin speaking. I've been in some deep prayer and reflection since our meeting yesterday, and I want to share a few things. Does that sound familiar to you? First of all, I want to apologize to the group, especially to Alex. I've been feeling the pressures of mounting this film, and more than that, the responsibility to all the people who have suffered all forms of abuse in their lives. The responsibility to share their truths, their strengths, and their realities, while also walking the line of making not only a great film, but an effective and accurate one that can actually save lives. Sure, I know that's unrealistic, but that's why I'm in this business. It's what motivates me and why I think I've been given whatever gifts I have. However, in doing so, I've been holding on to a lot of the energy, the stories, and the pain of those stories. And with that, a lot has been coming up for me that is my responsibility to hold and not let leak out on others. 3 words come to mind when I read anything by Justin Baldoni, and it's me, me, me. Over the last few months, I haven't been the safest place for myself. And in that, energetically, I feel I have failed at being a safe place for others. So I want to apologize, as my behavior yesterday for me was not acceptable. I try very hard not to interrupt the women in my life. And unfortunately, I've been failing in that on quite a few occasions over the last few weeks, oftentimes, and yesterday in particular to you, Alex. I will talk with you separately, but it wasn't okay for me to interrupt you and then mansplain something as it relates to abuse and data and statistics, which I'm sure you know as much, if not more about that than me. By the simple fact, I just want to say as well, this guy is meant to be an author, but yet his sentencing is really hard to read. I don't think he's the best writer. I'm just saying, and I don't know nothing about writing. By the simple fact that you live every day as a woman in this world. In fact, sorry, I do think I remember reading that he had a ghostwriter for his book. His books. This movie is going to be a tightrope to execute. It brings up a lot, and as I said, I've been navigating my own traumas while digging into it and preparing for Ryle. But my experience as a man and the abuse I've suffered will never compare to the collective abuse and trauma of what it's like to be a woman in today's world, and even more so what it's like to experience abuse as a woman. That right there is the reason I want to make this film. I can't believe he's talking about what it's like to experience abuse as a woman, but he slammed a chair to the ground and shouted at a woman on 3 separate occasions in a very short space of time. It blows my mind. That right there is the reason I want to make this film. And with the simple act of interrupting and being defensive yesterday, showed I lost sight of that goal. As we go forward, I will make sure that doesn't happen again to any of the women involved in this film. Sure, I may disagree, but I will always listen. Well, he's not even acknowledging the fact of him shouting and losing his temper and being angry. He's simply diminished it to, I disagreed with you, and it's all because I'm carrying the burden of having to make this film. That's how I'm reading this email, and it's so damn long as well. There is no need for an email to be this long. And this is the man who said in his own deposition that he only occasionally sends emails and they're very short. I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit worked up, but seriously, this man's the extent of this man's delusion and lies is really testing me now. For this film to work, every person involved has to feel safe to express their thoughts, feelings, opinions, and concerns to me on all levels. Well, you failed at that. You failed at that big time. But with the pressure I've put on my shoulders, I have not created the energy for that environment to thrive. That is going to change. One of my main focuses going forward will be ensuring that my energy and spirit match my intention here. That is such an important project. This is such an important project to me. And everyone on this email has been thoughtfully selected and in some cases begged. Oh yeah, that was another thing she said. She said she didn't really want to do this movie because she was really tired. But she did. To be here for one reason, to make this film as beautiful, as impactful as possible, while supporting me and the vision. But in that, I need to support you all as well, and release the reins so everyone can thrive. It goes on. Thank you. Oh, with that said, thank you for hearing me. I take complete accountability. And you can expect to see a shift in me. Sometimes pressure and fear can be a trickster, and it has certainly had its way with me these past few months. I invite any of you to reach out to me and offer me feedback at any time, because I genuinely believe that's how we grow. Thank you for hearing me, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. All my love, Justin. He still added a postscript. I heard you all yesterday. I know it's crunch time for some time, and it's been crunch time for some time. I was up all night working on the script and trying to figure out more cuts. We will be getting there shortly. Is that a little clue he put there? I was up all night working on the script and trying to figure out more cuts. Was he maybe asked to cut out the R-rated parts that he'd added in? Is maybe that what the problem was? Possibly, maybe. That was his email anyway. Let's go back to the deposition. So you told Mr. Baldoni, right? No, actually, I didn't. But he apologized to you, didn't he? He did. So he knew or felt that he had been impolite. Is that the right word? Yeah. Do you think Mr. Baldoni cut you off during that call because you were a female? Objection! I don't know, but I was the only person on the set that he consistently yelled at. Wow. You understand that well. Do you recall when the film premiered? I do. When was that? In August of 2024. And with respect to Mr. Baldoni's presence at the premiere, had Miss Lively made any demands? Objection. What I had been told was that they shouldn't be on the carpet together and that they would be in a separate theatre and would be having a separate party. Were you aware of efforts by Miss Lively to have the cast and crew defriend Mr. Baldoni about this time? Objection. I was not, until the press started reporting about it. I wonder how the press started reporting about it. Melissa Nathan. And do you know, as you sit here today, whether or not that's accurate? I don't. And you don't know whether or not Ms. Lively froze Mr. Baldoni out of the marketing. Is that correct? Objection. I had heard that she was really running it, but I didn't technically know if he was also talking to them on the side. I know marketing and publicity were like kind of sometimes just having two conversations about things. Definitely. Marketing was saying, let's all wear our florals, and publicity was saying, she's ignoring that it's about DB. At around the time of the premiere, when you texted that she was virtually taking over the film, did you have any discussion with Mr. Baldoni on the subject? So that text was back in post. That was about 2 months before the premiere. I believe I did talk to Justin around then that sort of final takeover was happening. I believe I did talk to Justin around when that sort of final takeover was happening, and I think that was one of our last conversations. And what did Mr. Baldoni say to you? I think he was upset, but if I remember correctly, was kind of shockingly in good spirits and accepting of the whole thing. It's so funny how he says one thing to people's faces and behind their backs, completely different story. What do you know about the entry on the list having to do with Mr. Baldoni? Oh, I'm going to stop for 1 second because oops. Hi, y'all. Hi, concern. Cross-examination. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Honestly, I love having people here with me. This is why I do these live, because it shows I'm being authentic. It shows I don't have an agenda, and it's more fun. It's more fun showing you my ignorance and my mistakes and you helping me out. So, what do you know about the entry on the list having to do with Mr. Baldoni contacting Ms. Lively's trainer? I knew about that incident really right after it happened because Justin asked Jamie and I to come to his apartment. and he walked us through exactly what happened. He was really shaken by it, upset, embarrassed, felt trapped. Felt trapped. He felt trapped. What exactly did Mr. Baldoni tell you about the incident with Miss Lively's trainer? Well, he said that he had asked the trainer what her weight was because he had a back injury, and he was going to have to be lifting her in one of the intimate scenes. And I guess the trainer, I don't even know if the trainer responded, but the trainer took that question and went to Ryan and Blake and told them about it. And what had happened that day was that Ryan and Blake confronted Justin about it. Do you know what? It could have been as simple as Justin texted the trainer, who I believe, according to his own Instagram post, is a good and long time friend of Blake Lively, because when you're in that kind of a relationship, it's professional, but it's kind of an intimate professional relationship. There has to be a lot of trust. You're inviting that person into your home. You're inviting that person into your personal space by revealing your body to them, by revealing and sharing your insecurities about your body. So you really do have to have a good, trusting relationship with them, or they wouldn't stay with you. And it might have been as simple as they were talking about fitting in a time for training, or maybe she was already doing a training session. And I can't remember whether this was after she baby, was it? I think it was. So yeah, this would have been very much on her mind. And so obviously he's going to say, oh, guess who messaged me? Like, obviously he's going to say that. That's exactly how these conversations go. But they're making it sound like he went running over to them, breaking Justin's confidence, or making it seem like he had an agenda. It could have been a really simple sharing of the message. That's my take on it. It sounded like, and what happened that day was that Ryan and Blake confronted Justin about it. It sounded like they were very upset, asked him why, how he could possibly do that. Again, I don't remember all the details, but it sounded like it went on for a bit, and then Justin was very upset. So he called Jamie and I to come hear about it. Oh my God. Justin, when are you ever going to admit you've done something wrong? By your own, like, just by your own volition. Not, what should I do? Have I really done something wrong? Just think for yourself, bro. My God. Did Mr. Baldoni, if you know, ever apologise to Miss Lively? I believe he did, but I don't exactly recall. As the producer of a movie in which the lead actor has to lift the lead actress, did you find anything offensive about Mr. Baldoni trying to find out how much she weighed? This wasn't a pantomime. This wasn't an action film. It was a movie about an intimate subject. Like this, they're making it seem like this lifting scene was part of the plot, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Objection. I don't know that I find it offensive. I understand it on a practical level, but she was a woman who had just had a baby, right? And was clearly uncomfortable with her body and her weight. Is it any wonder? Is it any wonder when paparazzi are hanging around waiting to get an unflattering shot of her so they can post it and say, oh my God, Blake Lively's let go of herself after her 4th child. She's too old to be in this movie. I'm joking. So it was more of an insensitive, stupid question that maybe we could have gotten the answer another way. Miss Garofalo. Okay, let's take a short break. I may be about finished. That's it. That's it. That's all I've got for you. They've been together 15 years. Her and Ryan allow their photos to be used by him as promo. There you go. And this was the point I was making yesterday. It's like, I bet that guy has a ton of followers. And you see, when you're in these relationships, like a lot of hairdressers, that's how they've had their careers. I've been friends with people in the past that worked with Halo, retail hairdresser. What is his name? I mean, he was just like a regular dresser, and then he started working and he started working with J-Lo and blew up from working with J-Lo because all of a sudden he's traveling around with J-Lo and she's like posting stories of him and Instagram pictures of him or tagging him in photos. So then he starts getting loads of hairdressers following him because they want to be as successful as him, and that's how it works. And Justin missed that opportunity with Blake and Ryan. He totally missed that opportunity. You know, a relationship is too human that they have to follow him when he's going sneaking around behind their back and doing all this weird shit. He ain't got a clue. He ain't got a clue. And now it's just become so obvious in the last couple of weeks from reading this stuff that he couldn't face up to his own failings, and so he literally had to blame it on pretty much, but that he was blaming everything on everyone else, not taking accountability. I just want to read this comment because it's really nice. I love it because I can listen to you while I do gardening and yard work, and it's super helpful that you can read this out so I don't have to sit and read because I have bad HD. Well, it's funny you should say that. But I'm not the best reader either. That's why I do it, because it means I'm word and I notice when I'm reading it out that I've already read it, but like I missed bits. I'll read it in a different way and it makes a lot more sense to me. So I think both of us. And I know you're not the only person that has trouble reading, especially reading off a screen. It's not easy. Like, I think once upon a time readings, we were kind of used to it, but since we've moved to screens, it's really difficult. Anyway, guys, I've been on for an hour today. I think it's going to be a short. I don't think I've got anything else to add. But I think that pretty much covers it. So let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do any others. I know Jamie Heath has got monstrous sized Deposition. I know it's probably traumatic, but I could tackle it. But I think it's going to be a lot of episodes to get through it. But let me know anyway. I've already done quite a bit of deep diving into Jamie Heath, so I could definitely play you some of his videos that I've already dug up in previous videos. But anyway, thank you all for joining. Please remember to like and subscribe, and apologies for the technical difficulties at the beginning of the video. Overall, this is working out quite. I can probably use this streaming service again. Thanks, guys. I'll speak to you later. Bye.